studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Oh, hi, friends.
What a terrible day outside.
It's a little shit show out there, ain't it?
Hey, I want to say hi to the, I think statistically speaking, on any given day, we've got around 200 or 300 listeners in Texas. I feel bad because I saw that hurricane hit Texas the other day as a Category 1, down from a Category 5. It could have been a lot worse. And I saw the flooding and I thought, wow, that sucks. Glad it's not here. Shit, now it's here.
Yeah, there's a lot of water today falling from the sky. A lot of it. And it is remnants of Hurricane Beryl there. It is that we're getting. But again, it's remnants. I know it's nothing like a hurricane. However, it's not pretty.
Are you interested in a hurricane? When I say that, what I'm asking specifically is...
I'd order it at a place.
Well, how many times have we all seen like Anderson Cooper from CNN and all these other people, when a tornado or a hurricane is coming, they go and stand on the beach and basically roll out the red carpet for it. If you were given the opportunity to stand on the beach in a Category 1 hurricane, would you do it just to say you did?
If you could guarantee my safety, can you guarantee my safety? Like say I'm for sure going to survive and I'll be fine, no injuries. Because I've also seen those clips, which are great, of the news people who are sitting there with a microphone, but then like a sign rips out of the ground and smokes them in the fucking face.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person, and with my luck, I would be. So if you could guarantee me zero injury, yes.
On a beach, there's very limited things that could hurt you. I assume they clear the beach of all the pool chairs and shit like that before a hurricane comes in.
You know what they do, actually? I was watching someone who was out on a beautiful vacation in the middle of the hurricane, and they put all the chairs in the pool.
In the pool?
They throw them all in the pool.
That's probably the best place for them.
Honestly, it kind of makes sense, because all you have to do later is dive in there and grab them, rather than them smack one of the people that are on your resort or be down the beach or in the ocean. So that actually wasn't a bad idea. I thought that was kind of neat, all of the things that they do.
I'm really curious to see what the rain's going to do as far as some of the live things that are happening today, because the amount of rain they say that we're going to get today only in southern Ontario is the equivalent of about 3 weeks to a month's worth of rain, like 60 millimeters of rain coming in one day. The ground can't absorb all that quickly, so we're going to have ponding and pooling and flooding, and then the rain, of course, itself is going to keep falling. It's chilly out there, but we've got Rock the Park starting tonight in London.
And it is rain or shine. If you have tickets and you're like, is this happening? Yeah, it's rain or shine.
In Hamilton, you've got Forge FC taking on Toronto FC in the semifinals of the Canadian Championship in soccer.
Right.
That's Tim Hortons Field is a wide open, uncovered field, and I don't know how many people are going to be wanting to sit in those stands.
I know. I'm thinking, well, I mean, if you're prepared for it, and I know nothing really can fully prepare you for it. It's not going to be comfortable. Let's just say it that way. But if you're prepared, you bring your poncho, and maybe you bring extra towels, keep as dry as possible anyway. You're probably all right. There's some people that are such hardcore fans of any of these things that we mentioned, whether it's soccer or Nickelback, that they don't give a shit. So good on you. If you're that kind of person, hey, still go out, try to make the best of it, try to have fun, but be safe at the same time.
I'm imagining most cities are going to close down the ball diamonds and soccer fields for tonight.
Yeah.
They don't want the damage to the grass and things like that.
And all your minor league kind of things and the kids' Timbit soccer and shit, probably not happening. I was thinking today about, because obviously they canceled a lot of the outdoor work that happens. Any worker who's outside, most of it is canceled. Of course, there's some people that have to be out there, and our thoughts are with you. I was thinking of all the camp counselors, because I'm in that zone right now where my kids are in camps. And I'm thinking about the fact that you have to be inside with all the kids. And for that matter, childcare centers and stuff, anytime it rains like this torrentially, because you want to get the kids outside. You want to get them moving.
And the kids want to be outside.
The kids want to be outside, but you can't bring them out. And now you're doing all the indoor activities you can possibly figure out you can do. Can we do freeze tag inside? Yeah, fuck it, do freeze tag. Like, do anything you possibly can inside the camps. I'm thinking about you, especially the ones that are mainly the outdoor camps. It's not fun.
We are, just so you know, standing by for a Doug Ford and Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy news conference, which, as we record now, it's about 9:45. The news conference is scheduled to start at 10, which means it's probably going to start around 10:15 or so.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get any of live Doug here, but whatever we don't get today, we will have tomorrow. Couple other things. We said Sandra Ziskin was going to be on today, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, she's sick.
Yeah, a couple of behind the scenes things here that we'll get to for you. Number one, yeah, unfortunately, hey, like a lot of people, it happens. Sandra's not feeling well and her voice is not 100%. So we didn't want to force her into coming on and talking to us about a bunch of things. But the good news is she is going to reschedule. So at some point in July, you're going to hear Sandra for sure. Actually, we hope to get her in sooner than later, probably next week. But we do have to give you guys a heads up about something. And
It's not good news. Sit
listen,
down.
it's not great if you're a hardcore After 9 listener. But I mean, here's the thing. Scott and I, we have our radio show and we have the podcast. And every day we do the radio show and we do the podcast. Summertime's a little bit different where we do obviously take more vacation. We try to take it when you guys take the most vacation, which is in the summer weeks. So we do have some vacation coming up. And all that said, we don't get to take advantage of like half days and all those other things that some people do just because we do have the radio show. So our version of that is going to be in August, a hiatus from the After 9 podcast. Just in August, we're going to be back after Labor Day with all the things. And we also are going to guarantee you if something crazy does happen, we will do a special podcast on it. But only if something crazy happens. You guys know the summer tends to be a little quieter anyway. Not a lot of shit goes down.
It's true. And I mean, hey, as much as this is a cool job and a fun job doing what we get to do, it's also very much a job, and work is very kind to notice that, oh yeah, you guys can't leave early on Fridays. You guys never get any of the lunches that we bring in on Wednesdays and shit. So they do want us to take a month off, and we're going to do that. The month of August, After 9 free. When we relaunch in September, holy cow, look out.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to say.
We are going to have a lot to say. And we do in this episode as well. So let's jump to it. As always, we're going to go through some of the top trending stories. We'll talk Baldwin in a sec because that trial is ready to go. But before we do, a few other things. Why is McDonald's lowering coffee prices? And I'm not complaining. Thank you, McDonald's, because coffee prices were getting ridiculous. We've always known that you can get Starbucks for like $5-6. You can get Tim's for like $2. And Tim's has been creeping up a little bit lately too. Even McDonald's was getting a little pricey, not putting coffee on their dollar menu this year. Now they've just flat out lowered the price permanently, or until there's a major influx in coffee bean prices or something. It's now $1 for a small coffee, $1.25 for a medium, $1.50 for a large coffee, and $1.75 for an extra large.
That's
under
reasonable.
$2, taxes in.
Though that's actually reasonable pricing for coffee. I'd imagine there's a couple of reasons why they would do it. Obviously, anytime that there's a deal like that and you're going through a drive-through or you're popping into a location like that, their hope is that you buy more shit, right? I think we all understand that.
Yep.
You're not just going for the coffee deal. You're going to throw in a muffin if you're having a snack at the time, or maybe you're going to throw in a breakfast sandwich or hash browns or something like that. That's what they're hoping for here, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a lost leader. So I think the strategy is lure them in with the cheap coffee and hopefully they buy something else. Even if they don't, it's not that big a loss. I mean, if you can afford to sell coffee for that price, I think you should. I think McDonald's is probably very accurately reading the room that Canadians are done and they're looking for alternatives. As is, I went from getting like 3, 4, 5 coffees a day through drive-through takeout places down to 0. All of my coffee is either made here at the station or it's made at home. I never buy coffee out anymore. And I don't know if Tim's has noticed that I personally am not buying coffee.
But you might not be alone there, right? And that adds up.
This does add up. So maybe this is a Hail Mary to try and keep the business going. Maybe this is the McDonald's trying to break Tim's back. Now Tim's has got to react. And the reason that I want to highlight this in particular is because we've said it so many times. And it needs to be said again. Competition is good for everybody. When McDonald's lowers their prices, we win. Now, if Tim's wants to respond and say, well, we're not just going to let all the drive-through coffee business go to McDonald's. We're going to make our prices the same as theirs. Now we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned price war.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Now, think of it this way. Imagine this. Take McDonald's out of the equation. Put, what's a good example? Put Fido or Freedom Mobile in where McDonald's is. If they lowered their prices, what's going to happen at Rogers and TELUS and Bell? They have to lower their prices or just watch their customers leave. We need more competition in every area because this is how it works.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I don't know if there's any truth to it. I'm not going to tell you this as fact, but somebody did text in when we were talking about it on the show and said they lowered the price on a couple of items, including their sundaes. And I don't know if that's a summer thing or not. It sounds like a summer thing to me. You know what I mean? Sundays, if anybody orders McDonald's Sundays, I don't know how many do. But apparently they dropped the prices on that and a few other items.
I would trust the fast food CEOs running Canada. They are able to take the temperature of the nation.
Business people?
They're business people. Look at what Wendy's just did.
Yeah.
They've got that new breakfast menu. It's $4 and you can get a combination that you make. You can get hash browns and a coffee. You can get a breakfast sandwich and hash browns and whatever. You can make whatever you want. $4. It's $2 each. They have to do that because they're probably not seeing the same customer volume they used to. And that's because people are broke. So McDonald's, Burger King with that stretch your dollar. Here's our $5 value menu back. All that sort of stuff. We need it. And it's going to be good for business for them. Yeah. But they're reading the room that people don't have any money.
I just wish all those options were like healthier choices. I don't mean to be that person. I don't mean to be like crunchy granola, but it does bother me that you can't get as many healthy options through the drive-thru. But if there are endless TikToks, by the way, if you want to dive deep into that hole of people who will compare the grocery prices here in Canada, and so they'll say, I picked up this, I picked up that. They break it down. They'll tell you this is 3 meals a day for 4 people for 7 days, and then they will break down prices of what you can get out in the fast food area. And they're realizing now that it used to be that it was more expensive to dine out, right? And now that's not necessarily the case, depending on where you go. But it's just the healthy options that people tend to be missing.
There's also some really good deals. If you go into the deals section on, say, Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever, Swiss Chalet for the last month has had buy one quarter chicken dinner, get another one for free. Like stuff like that, that helps. And I'm sure that they're seeing good volume on that because people do want to eat out. They just don't want to pay these crazy prices that some places are charging. The good news is prices are going down slowly, but they're starting to come down, and hopefully it goes into more industries. Imagine if Rogers and Bell came out and held a joint news conference and said, yeah, we know that people are broke, and we don't want to see people have to scrimp and save or have to default on their phone bills, so we're going to cut everybody's plan down to a flat $35 a month for unlimited everything, like Freedom has.
Man, that would never happen. But wouldn't it be nice?
Not with those two in particular.
Not with those two in particular is what I'm thinking.
Other industries, maybe.
That's the thing, is that, like you said, in all different industries, we would love to see stuff like that.
One more thing while we're talking about the apps, because this did come up today. DoorDash says they're stepping up efforts to identify dangerous delivery drivers and remove them from the platform. They say they've seen a big increase in complaints about the unlawful and dangerous operation of, not cars, motorcycles, mopeds, and motorized scooters by delivery drivers. They're going to be working with police departments to make it faster and easier to process requests for driver's records. Good. Get rid of the shits. Get rid of the bad apples. We don't need them. We don't want them. But how bad did it get for there to be a large influx of complaints about people on mopeds and scooters? And I didn't even know you could do Uber Eats or DoorDash or skip the dishes if you only have an electric scooter.
You can do it on a bicycle.
Really?
Okay, let me tell you this.
Never had a bike courier.
Did I tell you this story?
No.
The guy who was delivering our food got hit by a car. I never told you about this. I never told you about this?
No.
Holy shit.
This is why we don't text each other when we're on
Oh
vacation,
my
and sometimes we forget to tell
God.
each other shit.
Okay, so my husband and I, we ordered Swiss Chalet, okay? We ordered Swiss Chalet by delivery.
Did you do it for the 2 for $1 quarter chicken?
No, I don't think that deal was on at the time.
Oh, really? Okay.
But we did get quarter chickens. I do recall that. I don't think I got the deal. I got fucked.
Before we go any further.
Double fucked.
Can we agree that the quarter chicken is a great, great, great meal from a restaurant? It's good. It's underrated. I think it's awesome. Good price point. But still, at the end of the day, the wrap is the best thing on the menu at Swiss Chalet. The chicken wrap.
Oh,
hot take. Yeah, if you don't like that, I don't care. Don't download anymore.
It.
I'm telling you the truth that you need to fucking hear.
Cold hard facts, bitch. So we're ordering Swiss Chalet, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, obviously we're hungry because we're ordering food. So I used DoorDash, and I remember this because I have a couple different services on there, but I used DoorDash, and I was like, fuck, it's taken a while for them to like find somebody. So finally the person's arriving. And it shows the arrival time, and I thought, Swiss Chalet is really quick. Why is it going to take like 40 minutes to get me my chicken? Because it's typically quite fast. And my husband's like, oh shit, he's on a bicycle. I was like, no fucking way, bicycle. I'm like, it's okay, right? The Swiss Chalet is not that far away. I'm okay with it. It's not like
it'll get here hot.
It'll get here. It's fine. I get a phone call about 5 minutes later from the can't call him a driver, cyclist. He got hit. He's like, hi, hello, is this Kat? Yes. My name is whatever his name was. I need to tell you, I can't bring the order. I got hit by a car. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm like, first of all, are you okay? Like, and then I was confused. And then I thought for a second, I'm like, oh, you're on a bicycle, right? He's like, I got hit by a car at the Canadian Tire parking lot. And I was like, what the fuck? It was the craziest thing. So I'm like, he's like, my friend's coming to pick me up, but he's going to be another 40 minutes. So if you want, you can cancel your order, or I can bring it to you in like an hour. I was like, okay, fuck the chicken. I will order something else. I'll cancel the order or I'll whatever. He said that you can get fully refunded. He's going to put in the notice to DoorDash and let them know he got hit by a car. But I'm like, buddy, you just got hit by a car. Are you okay? So I hang up and I was like, that was weird. And then my husband had a theory. He's like, what if he didn't actually get hit by a car?
What if he did? I'm wondering that too.
Oh, is he eating our Swiss chalet right now?
2 of them. Two
fucking quarter chickens. Anyway, that was his theory, is that he's like, he probably pulls this shit often. I was like, no, because then DoorDash should be on to him. But anyway, keep your eyes open. But here's the crazy part, Scott, is I don't think you can choose on DoorDash. On Uber, I think you can, where you're like, I don't want no cyclist or scooterist or mopedist or anything to deliver. It's got to be in a car. I don't know, guys, but I'm just saying, be warned, this could happen to you. And also be careful if you're a delivery driver on a bicycle.
Well, I did think it was weird that they centered out motorcycles, mopeds, and motorized scooters, but I just did a little search, and on Reddit, people have listed some of the complaints that link to this. Everything from people riding their electric scooter in the hallways of condo buildings and apartment buildings, right up to riding and parking on people's lawns when they're doing the delivery to the front door.
Oh, I didn't think of that either.
Yeah.
They have those little kickstand things, don't they? Like kick it out and shit.
Mine does. Mine does.
Have you been out on your scooter?
All the time.
Do you go out? Do you
All
just
the
rip
time.
it around the block to get the mail? Like, what do you do?
I've tried to create practical things for myself to do on the scooter because I talked myself into it on a whim, saying, I need a scooter. I'm going to use it all the time. And then lo and behold, I never have a place to go with the thing. It's just easier to drive the car. So now I've started intentionally scheduling shit that I can do on the scooter. So for example, if I'm running low on pre-rolls, for example, I'll do the ride down to a can of cannabis there and then back to my place.
Ah, okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
What I'm not clear on is the law is pretty specific that you can't have cannabis readily available to the driver. And we know that you can get an impaired charge, for example, on a scooter. Will they charge me if I'm just coming home from the pot shop with a couple of pre-rolls in my bag? Because it is accessible to me, but I'm not consuming it. I would never do that when I'm driving.
You have a bag, though, right? Like, or a backpack or whatever?
It's the...
You have like a...
you
you have
the Lulu
something,
bag.
right?
Yeah, the Lulu bag. The one that goes over your shoulder. I have a man purse.
You have a purse. I think that that's okay, because I'm trying to think about if I go to the store in my car and do I have to put it in my trunk? Like, it's not like
I do.
That's the thing is, do you?
Yeah, I don't want to get charged.
I wouldn't put it on my passenger seat. That would scare me.
Yeah.
But readily available to me is within arm's reach.
Yes.
That's what I think. So I can't reach into the back seat, for example, from where I'm sitting. So I thought that was always safe.
I think it's safe in the back, but I put it in the trunk.
We need to get a cop on.
Thank you.
We need to get a cop on. Maybe Kerry Schmidt would be a good one to add to the pod before we're on our little hiatus here.
Can you make a note? I'll text him after the show.
Yeah. See if he's available, and we can ask him some frequently asked summertime kind of questions. He actually had he had a great rant the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it about not using the left lane to drive.
Oh, thank
left
God he
lane's
did
a passing
that.
lane, and he got real angry, and I fucking love when he does that. So maybe we'll get him to do a little vent session with us here on the pod too, because people need to hear it.
I think I want to play that.
You want to play it? Okay, so I think. Have we had Kerry on the pod? I know we had him on our show lots of times.
Yeah, he's been on the radio show countless times.
I don't know if he's been on the pod before, but he's so great at what he does. And he's honestly, although he does what he does, he could easily be a part-time broadcaster because he's so good. He's so good at communication, I think. He's one of the best. And on social, his presence is incredible. He's
very, very good communicator. I'm just trying to go through and grab this video for you because what he said in this, I thought for a long time, the government of Ontario has a TV channel. It's called TVO, TV Ontario. And what they do on this channel is just a whole bunch of shit that nobody watches and cartoons and stuff like that. I think that they should produce, and we've got the expertise and sound stages and all this other incredible stuff to make videos and things in Ontario. Why don't we use TVO and start producing up specials? Like, hey, Maybe you need a refresher on how to use the 400 series highways. You never drive in the left lane.
We just talked about this today on the show too. The people who don't put their lights on when it's completely dark outside in torrential rain. The people who don't understand that the auto isn't always going to work for you. You need to put your full lighting system on so others can see you. Things like that are important for people to maybe even get a reminder of, because maybe people simply forget.
That's possible. I don't see it. People should know this. This is basic shit. That's the sort of stuff that makes me think maybe we should just go back to a retesting. Like every 10 years or something, you got to renew your license and prove that you still know the skills that you had when you were 16 and took your G1 or G2 or whatever.
It makes more and more sense as we discuss it.
Yeah. You know what? I will get to that Kerry rant. I just got to download something real quick, so I'll get to that. But let's move on for now. Now available on AirBNB. Premier Doug Ford's former family cottage. Are you interested in staying in the home that housed not just Rob Ford and his daughters, Doug Ford and all the Ford family? This was their family cottage for years. They built a new cottage right next to the old cottage. So they stay at the new cottage now. They're renting out the old one on Airbnb.
I was just going to ask, so it's their rental. They didn't sell it to someone else who's renting. It's actually their rental.
It's their rental.
Interesting. Yeah, no, let's hear all about it here.
Okay, so it says it has room for up to 8 guests. You're renting the entire cottage in Huntsville.
Okay.
It looks like a fairly nice but run-of-the-mill cottage, 4.78 out of 5 stars. And it's already completely booked through the month of September.
Uh-huh.
No,
really?
It's already completely booked through August. There are a few dates available in September. I don't know how much people paid for prime time, July, August, with a whole cottage on that lake in Muskoka.
It's expensive.
I won't tell you where the Premier's cottage is, but he's got a great spot. But to get it in September, minimum 3-night stay, $750 a night.
Yeah, that's not cheap. That's not cheap.
It's one of the higher priced cottages that you can rent. It's got a little piece of history there. Doug Ford and Rob Ford's former cottage. This is the one that they've been going to for years. And who knows? If you rent it, the Premier may be right next door if you happen to need, I don't know, maybe you got a fucking ticket or your plates need to be renewed or something. He's right next door if you want to talk to him. He's probably got booze next door while the LCBO is closed.
At the least, he'll show you the liquor map. Hey, it's right on your phone. See, folks? You can get it right here.
I think it's great that he is renting it out. Good.
Fine.
That's what people with an excess property are supposed to do. But there are people who will shit all over this concept just because it's a Doug Ford cottage.
But hang on a second. Is it like he's advertising it, though?
No, somebody saw it on
Someone
Airbnb.
figured it out.
Yes.
So that's not on him.
No, but he's renting it out for $750 a night. What an asshole. He could rent it out for $200 a night. More reasonable.
God, that's
the
so
sort of
fucked.
shit that's
You
coming.
people can stop, honestly.
Honestly, if you don't want to stay there, don't.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't
Thank you
have
for
to.
that. Wow. Isn't that amazing, people?
But people are still going to shit all over the concept and the fact that it's $750 a night, even though that's probably what it's worth.
That's exactly what's on par for that area, though. It really is. Like a decent sized one to fit that many people.
Yeah.
Because if you want to go lower, by the way, is like more like $500 a night, which still isn't cheap for a lot of people. And you're not going to get a nice place.
It's $750 a night and it sleeps up to 8. So that's $200 a night per couple.
That's not that bad.
Think of it that way.
That's not that bad.
The Prime Minister did an interesting news conference the other day, and it's on a topic that we've talked so much about. In fact, the whole country is talking about it, housing. And the Prime Minister went into an area that I don't know, maybe he's waking up today regretting going there.
Really?
He's going to get a lot of criticism for this one because specifically, he criticized your grandparents for continuing to live in their home.
Oh, don't mess with the grandma.
35 seconds of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau doing an interview.
I mean, one of the things that always comes up for me is the idea that, on housing, you have a whole bunch of older folks who are living in houses that are too much house for them right now, but their connection to neighborhood, to community means that no, they don't want to move out to the suburbs or to some different city to be closer to their grandkids. They want to still live in their community's quality of life, and there is no housing that they can afford even to downsize other than staying in their big house.
So he pulled up at the last minute, but you know where he wanted to go. And to be honest with you, he's not necessarily wrong. We do have a shit ton of older people still living in their family home. They're empty nesters with a 3 and 4 bedroom house and a finished basement and all that shit for 2 people in their 70s or 2 people in their 80s. It's a lot for them to take care of. And I'm sure that there's older people out there that don't even love that they're in that scenario. But to his other point, housing has gotten so completely insane, they can't even afford to downsize.
And never mind, like, retirement places, they're extremely expensive.
So bad.
So why would you spend all that money? Or, like you said, downsizing won't even help you that much anyway, because the cost to move, if you're not moving to a different area, is fucking atrocious.
Well, there's a lot of speculation that the PM intentionally dropped that little bit about old people being in their homes longer than he thinks they should be in their homes. By the way, it's their home. They paid for it. They can do whatever they want with it. Nobody's expecting old people to get out of their homes. It would just be nice if they did, because there are so many families that don't have anywhere to live, or you got a family of 5 living in a 2-bedroom condo. So it would solve a problem there, but the conditions that we're in now, old people can't afford to downsize. They're going to lose way too much money if they do, money that they're probably counting on for their retirement. And there's a lot of people who think that the PM went there as a prelude to what's coming next. And this is the one that scares the shit out of me. I've been hearing rumors about this basically for 9 years now, and it looks like they're finally going to do it. A tax on your home equity, not your secondary residence, capital gains on your cottage shit. This is your home, the one that you live in and pay a mortgage payment for every month. Your home. They want to tax the equity in the home. And then when you sell it, tax the profit you made on that home. It'll start off with the tax on the equity. If you have a 200 grand in equity in your home, they want to tax that for your home, the one that you live in.
That's fucked up.
It's totally fucked up. And you know what? I usually think the prime minister's pretty convincing. He can usually convince most of the people who don't pay attention to the news that much just through his sound bites. He can usually convince people to go his way. I think that there's going to be an actual civil war if he tries to tax the principal residence. I don't think people are going to stand for it one bit.
I don't know why you would.
Do that.
I don't know why you would do that. Like aside from the obvious, why would you do that though?
Because we're broke
and want votes.
Yeah, taxing the principal residence is never the way to go. In fact, I think they do too much to our homes. Yeah,
they touch our shit a little too much, don't they?
Let's look at the city, the very granular level of living. The city is your first point of contact because you have to pay those people the property taxes, and those have gone through the roof. Some people for regular 1-car garage, 1,500 square foot house are paying $7 grand a year in property taxes. Are you getting $7,000 worth of value from your city? Are they doing a great job at picking up the garbage and keeping the water running? Because that's really all they do. Are you getting $7,000 worth of value? Because I do not get it. I do not, and I think it's atrocious how much we're paying. But that city that charges us all that money, the tax to live in our house, we still have to maintain the boulevard. That's theirs, but we got to mow it.
Yeah.
When it snows, we got to shovel the sidewalk or we get a ticket. We have a tree on our property. Our tree, our property, can't do anything about it until you get permission from them.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me how much interference. And now the one that in Toronto, they're doing this one. And I still don't understand why people in Toronto haven't gone down to City Hall with pitchforks and torches, but trying to charge that vacant home tax, the home that you pay for every month or paid for when you bought it. Now you have to pay a tax if there's nobody living there.
I know.
It should be nobody's business what happens in your home. It's your home.
Yeah. Why haven't I heard as much pushback about it?
I don't. All I can think is that Toronto is a very, very left leaning city, and maybe they're okay with paying more taxes. Me personally, I don't give a shit. If I went to Florida for 6 months and my home was vacant, I either pay the tax or get somebody to rent my home for 6 months. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Mr. or Mrs. Mayor in X town across Ontario, get the hell out of our homes. You can't tell us what to do with our homes. Inside them anyway. Wild to me. I will get to that Kerry Schmidt thing coming up in just a sec. I'm almost there. So don't think I forgot about you, everybody. I didn't forget. It is coming. But we have a couple other stories that we got to get through. Canada Was that a disappointment or was that a major achievement last night that we finished no worse than fourth at Copa America?
I like to think of it as an achievement because, I mean, listen, we've said this many times. Neither one of us are humongous soccer fans. And I don't follow the sport unless it's one of these major tournaments. But for me, I didn't think that they'd be able to get this far. And that's just because it's Canadians. I know, isn't that bad? I don't even know the players on the team. But in my mind, I thought there's no fucking way we can get this far. But how cool is it that we did? That's how I see it. I did watch some of the game yesterday. And once I realized that it was 2-0 while I was watching, I thought, no, it's not easy to come back in that sport. It's not like other sports where you're like, oh, there's still like 7 minutes on the clock. A lot can happen. Not a lot can happen when you're talking about, and we're saying soccer, not football here, people. We're saying soccer just because we are broadcasting from Canada. However, I think that we should still be proud of the Canadian team, and I think that they represented us well.
I think so too. I don't understand that. Like I heard those commentators last night calling the game, and they're like, oh no, Canada's gone down. I'm not going to do it. They've gone down.
2-0.
Like 2-0. It's an uphill battle to climb. Almost insurmountable. And I'm like, there's fucking 20 minutes left in the game. What are you talking about?
But they're not wrong at that level. At that level, it gets even harder. If you're talking about like watching some minor soccer, some Timbits league shit, sure, anything could happen. But they're very good, obviously. Needless to say, I guess.
Do you care about Euro now?
I mean,
did you ever?
No. I went to a school that had a lot of Portuguese and Italian people growing up.
So did I.
So
we both went to high school in Cambridge.
We both went to high school in Cambridge, a big Portuguese population. So by association with all my friends that were Portuguese, I absolutely paid a lot of attention to it. So I'm familiar with all of the different tournaments that happen, especially the Euro Cup. That's a big one, and FIFA, all the things. However, I don't intently watch it. I'm curious to hear who wins, for sure. Like, I love to hear, like, who wins or if there's any crazy shit that happened. I love to watch the reels where they're faking injuries, which happens all the time because they're ridiculous to me. But I'm, like, more of a give me the highlights kind of person.
Got it. We had fireworks last week because it was Canada Day.
Yeah.
This is an interesting update that I got from Halton Police and the Burlington Fire Department following Canada Day. There was a car fire in Burlington, and I was curious, hey, what happened there? That seemed a little weird. They gave me an explanation. So this happened, I believe, last Sunday. It was at New Street and Burloak in Burlington. Police and fire now say it was a stray firework that lit a BMW on fire. The fireworks were being lit safely. The homeowners were using a bucket filled with sand. That's what we're supposed to do when we fire off the fireworks. The problem is they lit the fuse on a Roman candle or something like that.
Oh, my God.
And then it kind of started leaning and it tipped over. And they didn't want to reach in the bucket for a live firework that was about to blow. So it tipped over. It shot right through the window of a Beamer into the back seat, and the whole fucking car went up.
Shit.
True story.
Guys.
I don't know how we prevent that, though.
Why we don't even ask for like ID to buy fireworks.
No.
Which is interesting, isn't it?
I almost kind of wish they treat fireworks like cigarettes because there's young people that are firing them at each other and it's not okay.
Me too. And I think because we're saying this and it's like, holy shit, a BMW fire. But this could easily have been, hey, someone's house or we have had deaths by fireworks. I think we all know that. It has happened. Does it happen often? No. Like, I understand it's not like an epidemic, but I think at the least we could take some precautions when we're selling these things.
Yeah.
Right? Or charge people who have them in their possession, maybe who are, I would say underage, but honestly, there's a lot of drunk middle-aged people that are setting off fireworks that probably should not be. So maybe some form of a charge when you're too intoxicated setting off fireworks too. I don't know.
That's
something to look into.
That's not a bad idea.
Because there's a lot of drunk people handling a lot of fiery things, so I'm not really feeling comfortable about.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, I'll blow through just a couple more, and then we will get to that video, and then we got to wrap things up because we're coming up to time here. We know that there's a massive backlog of people that have filed complaints because of travel, and they felt they didn't get the appropriate compensation from the airline. And this could be anything from they damaged my luggage to they canceled my flight to I was eligible for a free meal and a hotel voucher and they wouldn't give it to me. There's tens of thousands of complaints backed up. And now a consumer rights group says the country's airline regulator is pressuring travelers to shut up about what they rule on their complaints. The president of the Air Passenger Rights Association says the Canadian Transport Agency has asked at least one complainant who posted their decision on Facebook to delete the post. A screenshot of the apparent email from the agency director also asks for their cooperation in preventing future public sharing of confidential information. Is that public sharing of confidential information, or are you just sharing the result of an investigation that involved you? I don't know why this would have to be a secret.
I'm not sure.
What are they trying to hide here? If somebody gets, they ruled that Air Canada should have compensated you, so we're going to give you $400 and a free flight or something like that. If that's the ruling, that's your ruling. You should be allowed to share that. It's not a secret that the airlines have rules that they have to abide by. If you get a ruling on that, I don't see what the problem is, unless there's a lot of rulings coming out that favor the airlines that the public would look at and say, that's not right. So I kind of feel like there's a bit of that going on. The new Urban Nation, rentals.ca report for June is out. Average rent in June, $2,185 a month.
Woo!
Holy shit. It's up.
That's just the average, people.
7% increase year over year. And by the way, last year, it was like a 15% increase from the year before. So we're paying a lot here for rent. But there is some good news. That's actually a decrease from the asking rent in May. It's down almost 1%, the largest month-over-month decline since early 2021. What are we going to do with the Silk brand oat, almond, coconut, and almond and cashew milk here? And the Great Value one, too.
I was just talking to one of our colleagues here, and they're like, fuck, I just bought a thing, and now I got to get rid of it. I went to Costco, and I'm like, yeah, but you can get your money back for that. It's okay. But yeah, this is a big situation that we have here, and it seems to be like in the nut and seed category, because we're hearing about some tahini, which is the sesame seed crush up, then what is it, cashews and almonds? Is that it so far? Cashew milk, almond milk, soy-based products?
I'll do it here.
'Kay.
It's the Silk brand oat milk, almond milk.
Oh, oat. Okay.
Oat, almond, coconut milk, or almond and cashew milk. Plus the Great Value, Walmart, almond milk. Contaminated with Listeria bacteria. Contaminated beverages have an expiry date up to and including October the 4th. By the way, dairy should not expire 3 months from now. That's, again, we're not talking about dairy.
It's not dairy.
No.
Yeah.
9 people have contracted listeriosis. 5 of them have been hospitalized because of this shit.
That's something you don't want to take a chance on. You don't want to be like, well, I'll make my oat latte anyway. Like, no, don't, honey. If it's before the October 4th, like it says, please just toss it. It's not worth it. But it's concerning because it's got to come from something. Did they really are they on trying to figure out what the source is? Because it seems strange that it's in all those products. At the same time, it might not be.
They think it was contamination at the bottling.
There's one facility that distributes all of these.
Yeah.
Or bottles or packages.
Thank
it?
you.
Is that the best way to put it?
That's the best way.
One facility that packages it. Cool. Okay. So we assume that they're on it in terms of cleaning that up so that anything here forward is going to be safe to consume. One would assume. But keep in mind, that's a scary thing. Listeria. Nobody wants that.
The problem is getting the word out to people before they drink it.
Yeah. That's exactly what the Canadian Food and Inspection Agency, that's their biggest problem, is that if people aren't watching, and it sucks even more with the news ban here.
Oh, yeah.
On Meta, right? So if you really aren't paying attention, if you know anyone who drinks that, just shoot them a note. Shoot them the article from Global. I think there's one on Global there. Just shoot it to them by text or something so they can get it.
All right, we got to go, but we will leave you with a little bit of Kerry Schmidt and some driving advice. We started off the pod talking about this, and we will end it with Kerry. Don't drive in the left lane. What? Don't drive in the left lane. Some people don't know what that means. Some people think, well, it's a lane. You're allowed to drive in it. No. The left lane is for passing people. So you go into the left lane, you pass the driver in front of you, you get back in front of them, and then somebody might pass you. And then you can get the left lane and pass them. But the passing gets done in the left. You also don't pass on the right. You're just being a dick if you do that.
Yeah, don't do that either, right? And if we all abided by that rule, things would move along a lot faster than they do.
Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow, and we leave you now with our good friend Kerry Schmidt, who may even be on the pod tomorrow. I'll text him after we're done here. Have a great day.
Bye.
share the road. Driving is an active activity. I'm not driving right now, but when you are driving, your hands are on the wheel, you're looking where you're going, and if you're in the left lane, you're passing somebody. And if you're not passing somebody, please get out of that left lane. The left lane is for passing. Too many times we have people parking themselves in that left lane, doing whatever speed they may be going, and maybe they're actually speeding above the posted speed limit, but there's traffic stacked up behind them trying to get around because they want to go faster. Now, I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but if you're impeding traffic and you're not allowing for the smooth flow of traffic, you're part of the problem. Think about this. If you were driving and a car passes you on the right side, you're the one in the wrong lane. You need to get out of that lane. If you're on a multi-lane highway and a car passes you on the right, you got to move over. You got to get out of there because they are now passing on the inside. They're underpassing, and we shouldn't have that. We should have more active movement. You need to be using your mirrors, using your signals, and getting out of that left lane if you're not actually passing somebody.
The Sims has finally added polyamory. Not to be outdone, Atari released new Ms. Pac-Man Hawk-Tuah version.
Temperature records are being broken all across the country as a brutal heat wave continues to slam the U.S. When it gets this hot, you really start to understand why they have the deodorant locked up at CVS.
Drugs disguised as Taco Bell burritos were found during a Tennessee traffic stop. Apparently, meth, LSD, THC, and fentanyl-laced gummies, pills, and marijuana were concealed in Taco Bell wrappers and tortillas, making those the second most dangerous ingredients you could find in your Taco Bell burrito.